Hey, good morning. Man, oh man, here we go with that sleepy music again. I don't understand why we can't have like a really cool theme like Hawaii Five O. Come on. Who didn't used to love the opening of the boats in McGarrett and all this cool stuff in Hawaii? Why can't Chris, good morning. Chris, why can't we have like a cool Hawaii Five O style opening with like,
I don't know. I
you
have no
you
idea.
chopping down trees in New York like Paul Bunyan with a big blue ox. Do you have a big blue ox, by the way? I know you kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, but I don't say anything if it's going to get you in
well,
trouble. Just
the
saying.
big blue ox.
I don't want to get big blue oxes writing notes about us or something. Just saying.
No. But I ate them. Sorry, I was hungry. That's right.
Well, we got to eat. It's kind of a fact. But no, I mean, back to the theme. I don't. Why is it we can't get something like Hawaii Five-0, like an opening? Like you and I driving around, like that. Like remember that song? I thought it was pretty cool. Sabotage from the Beastie Boys doing kind of the takeoff on the 70s cop shows. Remember that?
No, that's not a bad one. I was thinking maybe we can use something from Cherie Curry, like we used with your other show. So that was kind of nice.
Cherie would give us something. Yeah,
we could technically use Bomberan from Vince Vance back in
that's right.
1979.
Did we play that yesterday? I forget. Did you play that yesterday? You want to play it today?
We didn't. There might be a copyright issue because it's a song, and I'm not sure if we can pull that off. But it's a parody of Barbara Ann.
You think we could get Cherie Curry to sing that for us? She could sing a version of that, right?
I think maybe we could sing it. We can do a barbershop quartet version, or possibly we can get a song from Michael Bolton. Wait a minute, that's the wrong Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton. That's
Classic
a great
movie. By the way. Yes.
Chris, I know people to this day who have never watched Office Space. It's like, and I always say, what the hell's wrong with you?
I've never seen an episode of The Sopranos. I've never seen an episode of The Sopranos. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones, and I've barely seen any Walking Deads. So I'm one of those rare people.
Well, look, I've never seen Sopranos. People are surprised, like, well, your name is Tony. It's like, yeah, but I'm not from New Jersey, for God's sake. So, yeah, I know, I get that. It's like, well, you're Tony. You must. It's like, no, I don't watch it. I'm sorry, it's not my thing. Anyway, in Game of Thrones, don't watch it. You'll be disappointed. The first 4 seasons, superb. Great character development, great storylines, and then J.R.R.L., whatever his name is, the guy that wrote it all, got lazy, didn't bother to finish it, and he left it to two Hollywood randos, just saying, to finish writing it, and it sucks. They destroy every character they developed, and they had great character arcs. People were becoming better people. And then all of a sudden, it's like, now we're throwing it all out. We're going back to be the really evil people and stupid people, mostly stupid that they were in the beginning. So, Trixie, I have never seen it, Trixie. Trixie's saying it's the best. It's the best. And yeah, I'm missing Flair. Chris, why don't you have your Flair on this morning? I don't understand. Well, what? You better get that Flair on.
Oh, you know what? I have a little bit of Flair on. See, it's over under here. Okay, it's the bare minimum. That was Jennifer Aniston's.
Well, that means you're not trying. According to Office Space, you're not trying if you only have,
I love it. What does it say? What does it say?
So what's going on? It was a
bare minimum.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's called being a Democrat. So.
Yes. Unless you're out protesting or something, making a name for yourself, then all of a sudden you're putting a little bit of effort in there. But we're going to get to that.
Well, it was an uneventful Monday, right? Nothing happened.
Oh no, not at all. Nothing at all.
So, look, I did I think I counted it at 12 interviews. It's like more than one an hour if you count 10 hours as the day, and it was a long day, and it was a good day. I think our job, Chris, is to educate, inform, and entertain. I think we did that. I know I did that all day.
Yes.
I ended up with David Harris last night when they announced the 12-day ceasefire between the Israelis and Iranians, and Trump went off on both sides last night, or is it this morning? I think it was this morning.
He did this morning on his way out to the NATO meeting.
This morning, yeah. It's like, yeah, look, both sides are like screwing up here, and he called out the Israelis, which really is going to upset some people, but good for him. Go ahead if you want to run.
Well, he had to, and this is very important. But here is Trump in front of a gaggle of reporters before heading to the NATO meeting. He does talk about the ceasefire, and of course the minor hiccups in between, or shortly afterward.
Very strong, but in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot, and now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either.
See,
yeah, there you go.
There you go. Other side.
There
not
you
afraid.
Go. So, yeah, one of the things I want to make very clear on the show, I've already posted this. I'm for America. As much as I love Ruthie, and God bless Ruthie. Ruthie Bloom was on the show with us yesterday. She was on channel. I love her. I love what she stands for. But they have their own issues. They're not us. They are them. And God bless them. We're a friend and ally. But what if you do something stupid like bomb Iran right after you have an agreement to stop? That's just not smart, right, Chris? Am I missing something? Am I missing something here?
You can't get away with it just because you're an American ally and Donald Trump's going to protect you. Because Donald Trump's going to say, "No, you screwed up." Here is the problem that a lot of people don't really understand about Donald Trump right now. He does not want any more deaths, no matter where they are. And I don't think we do too. Most of the people who support him don't want to see any more wars. That's why there was a little rift when it came to the bombing. But you see how that worked out. The idea is don't want to see any civilian deaths, don't want to see bombings, don't want to see killings, and we want to revive the Abraham Accords. Those are important points. And while Israelis have to think of Israel first, we still have to think of America first. And we just have to call these people out, either side, if they're going to violate an agreement.
Yeah. So I think we really have to pay attention. Hold on, I'm doing a chat with Denise 15. By the way, this is this T-shirt. If you like it, you can get it. This is from Sea of Mud, our friends at Sea of Mud. My T-shirt, fight, fight, fight. So there you go. If you want one, I think he still has them. I don't know, but hopefully so. Right. So just check it out. Thank you for noticing. But back to the show. So, did you know, Chris?
Yes.
That the left is lying. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Why would I even think? I'm appalled to even note that they're lying.
I hate to have to come on the air and point this out because I know people are going to be like apoplectic. They won't be able to sleep for days knowing this. So, did you know that a guy named Barack Obama actually bombed Libya back to the Stone Age without authorization? By the way, he just did it. It's like, hey, I had some heartburn. I think I'm going to take something for the heartburn, and that something is called military action against Libya. And there he goes. There's Mr. Bomb Libya.
Well, let's put it this way: Article 2 of the Constitution clearly defines that the commander-in-chief, that's the president for some people, I guess Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who thinks this is impeachable, but you're allowed to, you have to command military operations. You have control of all of them. And the fact is,
Donald Trump's not black, so I guess it's different,
Right.
Yes.
But the fact is, and again, even though I stood against Obama doing this only because
I did too. We'll talk about that.
I didn't think it was the right thing to do, not because he didn't ask for authorization. Because sometimes you cannot talk to people, you cannot let too many people know what's going on if you're trying to command a secret operation. I'm sorry, you just cannot do that. Right,
of course.
So let's be fair about that. Again, these are two different circumstances, and we're talking about bombing facilities underground and of doing our best
exactly. But I think it's important. My point being, and the reason I wanted to bring up Barack Hussein Obama, because he did actually engage in a regime change operation. And by the way, did you know that CNN called him the president of peace?
Yeah. Oh well. Hey, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing.
Scott Jennings has on his X. I just tweeted it out a few minutes ago that that some liberal chick. Can I say liberal chick on air? I guess I just did.
You can say broad. How about that? Liberal broad.
Liberal broad on
ladies,
CNN.
you okay with us using that term, Patriots?
Yeah. Well, I there's the Broad Street Diner. I've done a live thing from the Broad Street Diner. But by the way, where are the broads? I always go down there. There's no freaking broads. Well, maybe a few. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to get into it here. I'll get in trouble. I already have. But let's go back to Barry, to Barack Obama. So they engaged Chris based on some nebulous UN kind of something, and then he decided, well, I've got to act. Nowhere in any of this did he actually reach out to Congress and say, hey, under Article 1, Section 2, I'm supposed to ask for permission for offensive action, because this is the big thing. I've seen Hakeem Jeffries. That's Hakeem's bigger brother. By the way, Hakeem, I think they've got to be related because they're so, like slimy.
Hakeem is trying way too hard, though.
There he is. So he goes off in this segment on, President Trump has to come to us for offensive approval of offensive military actions. Like, no, I'm offended that he's a knucklehead. So anyway, do you want to play some of this? This is
yes, and listen to him. You are not off when you say he is Barry's little brother, because he tries so hard to look like him, to move like him and sound like him, the inflections and everything else, because he thinks he's going to run for president.
I think he's going to marry a guy too. Just saying.
Hey, it might work. All he has to do is eat hot dogs and ice cream in public. He could be just like Barry.
Donald Trump and his actions, which do not appear to be consistent with the United States Constitution.
The hand motions, pauses, the dramatic pauses, the look on his face. He's trying to be Barack Obama.
He is.
Voice, though.
Takes unilateral offensive military action without seeking the approval of the United States Congress. The use of military force, which is offensive in nature.
Yeah, okay. Like the haircut. Having said that, Tony, I have a question. Does the commander-in-chief of the armed forces have to ask a bunch of pencil pushers if he can bomb something?
By the way, a personal note. Something just came to me. Chris, if you combined Taterhead, Brian Stelter, and Barack Obama, you'd get Hakeem Jeffries. Did you know that? It's possible. Like a splicing of genes. Yeah, he's got kind of the whiny Brian Stelter thing going, but he's trying to be Barack Obama. So yeah, it's Spartacus Light. I don't know. It's interesting. All right, let's keep going. So
here you go, right here. There we go.
There he is. There he is. Yeah,
let's get a little more from Hakeem.
Approved by the House and the Senate. That's according to the Constitution.
It's not. You cannot get briefed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez about constitutional issues and go public with it, because that will make you an idiot. The fact is, Article 2 says it. Read it.
Yeah. Or the hood rat, what's her name? Jasmine Croquet, who says that he should have shouted out to him. He should shout out to us. Girl.
No, nobody consult her anyway. So let's let's hear more from old Hockey.
I think she was consulted, but it's on something else. Just saying.
There you go.
Optional, Donald. It's not. The framers of the Constitution actually gave Congress the power to declare war for a reason. So the American people, through their election.
Okay. He gave the Senate, not Congress. The founding fathers gave the Senate the powers to declare.
He does need an enema. Yes, Bond 1960. He does need an enema.
Me or
he clearly is full of something. Just saying. Let's hit this real quick and move on, because I know we have other things to get to. But suffice it to say, the War Powers Act of 19, I think, is it 1973? I think it's 73. I may get my year wrong, but I got the law right. Says the president has a certain amount of time to notify Congress of offensive action. So, as a matter of fact, I know for a fact that that notification did happen. So, so Hakeem, sit down, go have a nice warm enema. Is there a place in New York, Chris, that he could get an enema that you could send him to? I think. Is there like Enemas or Us? Is there? Is that like on Fifth and Broad in Manhattan?
There is one place. The Zorhan Mamdani campaign headquarters. Lots of enemas over there.
Man, oh man, that's like Enema Central. there's so much brown liquid there. You'd almost think that you walked into a sewage plant.
Yes. And you think it's either an enema factory, a sewage plant, or Sadiq Khan's little brother here. You want to talk about Barack Obama's little brother? This guy is going to be this Sadiq Khan and Mayor Johnson of Chicago all rolled up into one. This will be dangerous for New York.
Yeah. So I've said this on X. I'm not saying anything I haven't already said, but I'll say it here on air. So New Yorkers, New York Cityers, what do you call people who live in New York City? Like, you're a New Yorker. What do you call someone who lives in one of the 5 boroughs of Pain?
Generally, they're called New Yorkers. They call us upstaters.
All right. Well, city folk, New Yorkers, are faced with a choice between genital warts, that is Cuomo, or a brain aneurysm, which is Zoran the Great. So that's it, right? I mean, it's the Democrat primary. I mean, obviously, you've got Curtis Sinwah on the conservative side running against him in the fall, but
he's not going to.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, I like Curtis Sliwa. I think he would be a decent mayor, but he's not going to win, and that's another issue.
I wish he would. He has sacrificed and actually done the right thing for the city. Been out there trying to help bring safety and comfort to folks. So
true.
I've met him a couple times at events there. So, but man,
I'll make a bold prediction right now. I believe Mayor Adams is going to win as an independent candidate.
Good. I hope so.
And
I've come to respect him a lot more since he's been independent.
Right. He has been a better mayor. He's actually putting New York City first. That's what he should be doing. He will call out both sides, and he does have the perspective of a police officer. So it could be tough to see where the police union is going to go. If Cuomo wins, the police are probably they could likely back Abrams. If Zoran Mamdani wins, they will back Abrams, or possibly Sliwa. But
so let me ask you a question, because
Mayor Adams,
you and I,
Mayor Adams,
yeah. So no, I'm with Mayor Adams. I hope it works. Now, I still don't understand. I spent a lot of time in New York, as you know, back in the old days working for Herb. I still don't understand New York City. Well, the state too, kind of, but I kind of get the state. But the city, I don't get it all, because you get a Giuliani, which is great, and people ought to read his book, Leadership. It's a good book. Talks about kind of his philosophy, how he went about fixing a city. And then you get a knucklehead like Bloomberg, who basically is out for himself, which is still not bad. He's kind of self-made and wants to do things based on not looking stupid, but he looks stupid anyway. But a different story. And then you get these radicals like Zorhan coming forward to try to come in, who would literally turn Manhattan into downtown London, which about 20 years ago may have been a good thing, but today it's not. So how does this happen?
The fact is,
we should get someone on from the city to talk about this.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
I love Midtown,
but he is a socialist. You know how Mamdani made a name for himself as far as outside of his own assembly district. He was screaming
selling pigs.
Nope, he was screaming. He was screaming and yelling, just ranting and raving at the same Newark anti-ICE riot that Representative MacGyver was arrested at.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then the media started covering this guy. He's like, "Who the heck is this weirdo ranting? Oh, he's this guy running for mayor, and he's a New York assemblyman. Oh, great." And he's also, keep in mind, this guy's also a party to the crappy New York State budget, all the garbage going on with Kathy Hochul and her demands. Yes,
Hochul.
Yes, the $10 million legal slush fund for corrupt Democrat officials that they want.
Yeah.
So keep this in mind.
Yeah, I'm keeping it in mind. Keep going.
All right. So the New York posted a story on some of Ma'am Danny's lesser known proposals. Want to hear some of them?
Please.
He wants to push to outfit hundreds of city public school buildings with renewable energy infrastructure. It's going to cost 3.27 billion smackaroonies over 10 years. And of course, the cost of energy after that's going to go up, as you know. So these guys don't think of how much anything's going to cost after the city was near bankrupted by leftist policies, which included sanctuary city policy, sanctuary state policy, and COVID policies. And of course, yes. Let's see. He wants to freeze rents for regulated apartments. And that
worked so well last time. Worked so well last time.
Who's going to pay for that? Exactly. He wants to force landlords citywide into keeping their buildings.
That did that the first time? Wasn't it Mayor Dinkins?
Yep. Dinkins tried that. Yep. Dinkins was a terrible mayor, by the way. He also let a riot run for 3 days. He also wants to get this, force landlords to keep their buildings at 78 degrees during scorching hot weather. So you're talking about a heat wave and elderly people living in an apartment building. Screw that. They're not allowed to put their air conditioning on lower than 78 degrees.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's right. That's his proposal. It might not go through, but this guy will have other socialists behind him in the city council if he wins. This is Sadiq Khan light, and this is Sadiq Khan mixed with Mayor Johnson, and he's not as stupid as Karyn.
With a touch of Ocasio-Cortez.
Well, unfortunately,
of Ocasio.
Well, unfortunately, he's not as stupid as Cortez, Harris, or Bass. This guy is actually dangerous. If he's put in a leadership position. Truthfully, he's more the Sadiq Khan, and he's more the Sadiq Khan type.
Yeah. And by the way, Sean Lucas, Times Square does smell like it smells like skunk, which we know what skunk is, right? Oh my God, yeah, no. Well, it's gotten worse over the years. When I started going up to New York about 2013, when I first started working with the London Center, Times Square was all cleaned up. It was a nice place to go. You could take your family. Not now.
No.
You drive down certain Manhattan roads, it smells like weed. So, and you got to have a lot of weed to get into the street. Just saying, well, and I don't partake. Just saying. So
to be fair, there's that new attraction, the nice statue of Letitia James in the middle of Times Square.
That's right. Boy, that's a big attraction. And it's did you know if you go up and scratch and sniff her pants, it smells like Walmart? Did you know that? Yeah, it's got that Walmart. Ah, God, Walmart.
I thought it smelled like
what a great smell. What a great smell.
I thought it smelled like fraudulent papers. Anyway,
well, similar, very similar. One could be mistaken for the other. Just saying. Speaking of New York, good morning, Barry.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Good. What the hell's going on?
What's
going on in New York?
All hell is breaking loose.
Yeah.
On the anniversary of 9/11, we're 25th anniversary. We're about to elect a radical Muslim socialist Marxist.
So, by the way, did you hear, Barry, that Zorhan is only weeks away from having a nuclear bomb? Did you know that?
Hey, I'm all for taking that.
I think he's got it in his basement. I think he's got it in his basement.
We can just send him a beeper instead.
He is the world's largest source of hot air. So,
oh my
beeper! Oh, hey-o, that deserves it.
Hey-o,
give me a second.
Hey-o.
Just kidding.
Oh,
I've only been on 10 seconds and we're canceled.
No. So Barry, we've been musing because I know I made a shocking statement to open the show about I think you may have heard the rumor that Democrats lie. Did you know that?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I was shocked.
I'm dealing with a little. Yeah, no, it's like at every level you go. And they always pretend to be working in the public interest. Oh, I'm just trying to do the right thing while people die in Libya and destabilize countries and bomb things. By the way, did you know that Obama was the president of peace? I guess it's peaceful once you get bombed, right? I mean, if you're dead, you're peaceful. Does that make sense? I think it's true. Right?
If you're a Democrat, yeah, it's good. It's good to be a Democrat, as they say.
Yeah. Good to be a Democrat.
Yeah.
So,
and he won the Nobel Peace
go
Prize.
ahead, Chris. I think you wanted to jump back in with some of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you what.
He got Nobel and dynamite, so I guess it tracks.
You're right. Exactly right.
Hey, you know what? The best dynamite came from both Mud, the song Dynamite, and of course Jimmy Walker with Dynamite. So there we go.
Dynamite. I love that show, by the way.
That was a classic.
Janet Jackson was on that show. Yeah, that was a great show.
Janet Jackson played Penny. That's after John Amos left the show, of course. Remember that. You guys, we talked about the ceasefire first. We want to get your take on it, Barry, and talk to the Patriots who maybe had come in late. But I also want to get to your takes on the news media's reaction. A lot of them were. It's almost like they were hoping that Donald Trump couldn't solve the problem. They could talk more about it and fault him for starting World War III. But apparently, the bombings have led to bringing Iran to the table as possibly planned. But watch Caitlin Collins, and this is about a minute and a half long. Watch the whole thing. Caitlin Collins and Anderson Vanderbilt.
Yeah, two of my favorites.
Yeah, Anderson Vanderbilt were discussing this, and they had to come to terms with the idea that, oh my God, the ceasefire actually happened. And look how disappointed she looks.
Now, we're hearing incredibly optimistic views coming out of the White House as far as how long this can hold and what this is going to look like.
Yeah, very.
That obviously still remains to be seen on the implementation side of this, and waiting to see if the firing does stop and if Iran and Israel do both agree to this. Because, speaking of the fluidity of the situation, it was just 24 hours ago that President Trump himself was suggesting a regime change in Iran was a possibility. And obviously right before that, having the United States strike Iran. And so, yes, there have been a lot of phone calls going back and forth. In part, this has to do with Iran's limited response earlier, where they fired on a U.S. base in Qatar, but there were no casualties. We know that they did give a heads up that they were going to be firing on U.S. bases.
Anderson's like, shut up, I got a date soon at the meat rack.
Without exactly specifying which ones. But that is the question here, is if the United States felt that it did not need to respond to the Iranian retaliation, did that create the space for this? That is what we've been hearing from administration officials. And so the question is whether or not this still holds for the next few hours.
Caitlin, I just been given word that Iran, according to a diplomat who briefed CNN, Iran has agreed to the ceasefire.
Well, there you go.
This is significant. I just want
look at her face, guys.
This is really significant, and I'm not happy.
She's like,
look on her face.
People are going to stop dying, and then our ratings drop.
And then people are going to start saying "Orange Man, good."
Yeah, right. Trump was
Look
right.
More information. Remember this, Patriots. Remember this snapshot in time in history. Remember right here, this moment. Those two sour faces are because President Trump brokered a ceasefire between two warring nations on the brink of nuclear war, and they're sad. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, we thought we were going to finally get a nuclear war. It's so horrible that he took it away from us. Right? There you go.
And again,
after just a few days.
Right. So let's just say Trump is America first. Netanyahu is Israel first. Can't blame him.
Yeah.
And even Khomeini's
Iran.
Yeah, and Iran first. But these guys, they're me first. That's what they are. They were looking for that big moment. They were looking for now. Not only can we say Orange Man bad and bring the Democrats back to prominence, but we can people actually watch us on CNN. Now she's really upset.
Now, just as a contrast, and I'm not promoting myself. Well, maybe I am a little bit. Who knows? But last night I went on David Harris Jr. on his show, The Pulse, and we were talking about this. So I want people, and I think it may be on my Facebook. Just go watch David and I discussing the ceasefire versus these knuckleheads, and you tell me who has the more practical view of the world. Just do it. Just do it.
I think I'd lay my bets on you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of people being so glum about the potential for resolving Middle East challenges that go back generations. Oh, we really don't want resolution. We want political power. Right, Barry? It's all about political power. It's not about resolution.
No, they could care less than anything about the country. Anything they'll root against Trump if it's going to hurt. Whether it's going to hurt the country, or they just don't care. Yeah.
Well, there's another issue at stake here. The Democrats. There are still a lot of Democrats positioning themselves A, for party leadership, and B, for that nomination to run for president in 2028. After this, if this peace deal, if this whole thing sticks, the economy gets a little better, and other nations start folding, even more nations start folding in on the tariffs, that could guarantee the first time in I guess a few decades, a president's party gains seats in the House after his election.
Oh, I hope so.
Right. And then that would make the Democrat Party virtually irrelevant unless something really horrible happens before 2028. But they're not going to have a good enough candidate by then. These people who are positioning themselves are incompetent. They're beclowning themselves every time they speak.
Yeah, what is AOC the front runner now? I don't know. It's just one is dumber than the next.
She's a distraction.
Maybe Jasmine Crockett now.
Jasmine Crockett's never going to run for president.
Okay, yeah. No, Barry. Jasmine Croquet.
Yasmin Croquet.
Right. Yeah.
She's posh.
Yasmin.
Right.
By the way, did you know the president should have done a shout out to her before he bombed Iran?
You know that? Needed to holla at them. I think.
Holla at us.
Right. Actually, they're going to be.
No, let me stop this for a second. No. I want to stop the show for a second here. Let's take a moment and savor the ghetto speak of Jasmine Croquet. Seriously. No. I people always say, "Oh, you're being racist." Really? How am I being racist by reflecting what she says?
Right. Just repeating what she said.
Did she not say that? Did she not say that?
And I think she also called Trump a mofo the other day, if I heard that correctly. I think
that's true.
Yeah.
And so I think Trump ought to have the theme from Shaft going on in the background when he walks up and talks to people. Okay, let's just own it.
The thing about Yasmin Croquet is when she off the camera, she's writing down, she's getting briefed by her staff. She's telling them, well, yes. I think quite possibly before cotillion, when I start speaking in front of the camera today, I should call Donald Trump a mofo. Mainly in the play. That's right. We will call him a mofo, and then I will do something and screech some I'll flash some gang signs, and then I shall walk off. And then we go get meat fingers, some caviar.
All right. Chris, you stumbled on something. Chris, you stumbled on something. Let's talk. Barry, get Dean Cain on the show on the phone, and ask him if we can produce with him a remake of My Fair Lady using Jasmine Croquet as the lady. What do you think? What do you think? You think Dean would go for that? I'm going to text Dean about that right now.
I like that idea.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
I love it. That's perfect.
Here she is, a little upset about not being hollered at, if you will. You want to hear some? You want to hear some Yasmin Croquet in front of the camera?
Let's do it.
Of course.
All right, I'm gonna give y'all a second to jump on.
Y'all, well, she's now Southern country.
Y'all.
Hopefully, I've got a decent connection. As I am in a car, I'm driving to another location.
So dramatic.
Well, she's thinking about when she's off the camera, she's figuring out how to get those Lee press-on nails off for cotillion later on.
And those big old eyelashes.
I literally.
Well, she's mastered that.
Shed a tear or two. And so long story short, for those of you that are unaware,
which is pretty much most of her voters,
the mofo that resides in the White House has unilaterally, in my estimation, declared war. We have a constitution that seemingly does not matter to this man or the people.
I have to ask you, gentlemen, I'm really getting tired of this. The Democrats constantly bring up the Constitution,
which they have no respect for.
But they don't even know what's in it because the commander-in-chief has these powers. And nobody's declared war. It's the Senate that declares war, not Congress, just the Senate. Now, here you go. Is it the Democrats are stupid and haven't read the Constitution? Or do they think or know that their voting base is stupid and doesn't read the Constitution?
Yeah. Keep going. Get to the good part. Get to the good part where she
supposed to be advising him. I will say that I want to give a shout out to a Republican, Thomas Massey, who made it clear that he wanted to reiterate that the power as relates to war declaration, the power that we derive from the Constitution, it resides with Congress, and the House is out.
This is stream of consciousness stuff.
It is a Saturday right now.
She's showing off her
so no one's
too,
in.
by the way.
We ain't been called in. And let me just explain briefly why I am so
gotta clean that wax.
Heartbroken. Is because I don't think a number of nations should have nuclear weapons. Like let's just kind of level set.
She couldn't spell nuclear if it was pretty sure.
I wouldn't want anybody randomly just
kind of have some
Chardonnay
before
like,
this.
Yo, like y'all got nukes, so we just don't like no.
Wow.
That's not how you do
a congresswoman.
This is like Nancy Pelosi when she's sober.
Those are rare moments in America.
Wow.
And we are living in this time in which there is someone who is occupying the White House who does not care about any rules, any norms, any laws, nor the Constitution, and we cannot be a civilized country if there is no law and order. So I know they may claim we law and order, blah, blah, blah. So go get the undocumented people and let's try to ship them out. Let me tell you something.
That's true.
They are not the people that are putting us in harm's way.
I have another thing about this, gentlemen. I want to ask you this question. I want to get your takes. And Patriots, what are you thinking of this? Yes. Okay. I understand that they are in the middle of what's going on, and they're not wrong. But the Democrats themselves are the ones that put these people, the so-called undocumented, the illegal aliens who are coming here that aren't necessarily committing other crimes besides getting in here illegally. These are people the Democrats are putting in harm's way and using as pawns so they can and gain extra seats in the House, or extra representation, or over-representation, if you will. They don't care about these people. They don't care what happens to them, and they don't care what goes on. As long as they populate the country until the census is on, and then they can use that to feign larger populations in blue areas. Thoughts? This way they can get more representation.
By the way, a quick note. Yeah, speaking of representation, I we've been really hard on Miss Crockett, Congresswoman, this morning. I just want it to be known that she actually does some really good public good in Texas. No, Barry, all kidding aside, I don't know if you knew this. She goes to nursing homes all around, and in the summer she goes to when she's on break, and she flutters her eyes really fast to basically cool off senior citizens. That whole eyebrow thing will completely chill an entire nursing home. So she's not all bad. Just saying that's a very nice thing she does for the elderly, right, Chris?
Well, you know what? She's a kind woman. I mean, as I said, she brings lady fingers to the nice the nursing home events. She does this and she can do that and play 18 holes of golf afterwards as well. She does that, and then she plays croquet with her her girlfriends at the country club.
Yeah,
we should make that her full-time job then. The fluttering of her eyes at old folks' homes.
That would be nice.
Fluttering the eyes are important.
But I will say this: anytime a Democrat tells you that the Republicans or ICE are putting illegal immigrants in harm's way, in fact, it's the Democrats that are doing this because they made sure the illegals came here. They made sure that there's very little opportunity for them, so they can get on, so they can come in and take benefits, and they're just there to populate urban social service centers to feign an overrepresentation for the blue states and blue areas in Congress after 2030 census. That's what that's the plan. That's what they want to do, and they don't care what happens to these people. They don't care about their welfare. They just care about the numbers.
No, they are chattel. They are chattel, to use a term.
That's the word. Right. That's the truth.
So let's consider this a teaching moment for those watching, Patriots. This is a teachable. What do they call it on the left? A teachable moment.
Oh, yes.
Don't let your kids grow up to be a Jasmine Crockett, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Don't let your kids do that.
Cowboys are better.
What a Crockett.
That's right. Cowboys are better. Mama, don't let your kids grow up to be Jasmine. But by the way, she's from Texas, so
yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, that's right. She is from Texas, and maybe she won't let her babies grow up as Cowboys. Right? That's a good. They'll probably be like they'll probably be posh golfers or something like that.
Who the hell voted for her in Texas? That's crazy. Anyway,
there's she and Rashida Tlaib, AOC, and you could have the Spice Girls congressional version. That could be interesting.
Okay, how about eyelash spice, ignorant spice? That would be
Marxist spice,
jihad spice. Jihad spice.
That's Tlaib. Yep. What was it? Oh yeah. Oh sorry. Brother Marion Spice. Elon Omar.
That's right. And what's that dude McBride that thinks he's a girl? Tranny Spice.
Tranny Spice. And of course, Ayanna Presley could be Kojak Spice.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Kojak Spice, man. Yeah. That's a killer. Oh, that's a good. I couldn't say that. That's a cool group.
So here's a question for you guys. Have you guys heard about what Representative Tim Burchett said recently?
Yeah.
Apparently he's saying that that some Biden staffers were selling pardons on the auto pen.
Oh, Biden staffers were doing a lot of things. That's just
cold hard cash.
Yeah.
Shocking.
No, that's again, that's interesting. Now, again, I would say when you saw the list of people who were being pardoned and the retro pardons, there should have been some investigation into that, but there was not. The media was not doing its job.
Well, I think that's a great point to bring up, Chris. Yeah. Right. So Burchett is based, and by the way, they just ended with Comer the TSA program that was being used to basically track people like Tulsi Gabbard and other political enemies within. So that was ended too. Comer's looking into that. Burchett's looking into this other thing. But you got to ask yourself, Barry, you've been around politics a lot, and for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is it peculiar that Hunter Biden and his pardon was so specific? It covered a specific amount of time.
Period,
it covered all the Ukraine. Is that not strange? And we covered a certain amount of time past the pardon. It's like, okay, what's up?
Yeah, that's strange. But are we going to be able to reverse these pardons, like for him and Fauci and?
I think it ought to be tried. I would try it if I were Trump.
Yeah.
Here's something. So I'm going to submit to you both this one. The Hunter Biden pardon, the retro pardon, was no surprise. That was going to happen. A father is going to protect his son, and the family is going to protect the family name no matter what. That was something that we knew was going to happen. What was interesting to me is how the names of these people got to these retro pardons or special pardons. Liz Cheney, Anthony Fauci, and General Mark Milley. I mean, first off, Cheney and Fauci could be investigated, but it wouldn't necessarily matter to Joe Biden, who's pretty much, again, Biden first, Biden family first, and that's it. He wouldn't care. Liz Cheney would be a pawn to Democrats or somebody like him. Mark Milley, possibly a pawn as well, but he was kind of a party to what's going on. Yet still, these are still small fish to when it comes. Fauci's a different bird, but these two, Cheney and Milley, are small fish and probably not even worth investigating at one point. I'm going to be fair about that. You want to go for the big guys like Fauci. Cheney and Kinzinger, their political careers are over. They're just going to be annoyances for the rest of their lives. But why were they granted pardons? Why was there? I know they're guilty of something. I'm sure they're guilty of something. But the fact is, why would the Biden administration go, or Joe Biden or whoever else would go out of their way to give these people pardons for any reason, aside, of course, from Fauci?
Go ahead, Barry. Any thoughts? I'll let you go first.
Because obviously, I guess they knew that these people were on the radar of, or Trump's radar, that they maybe he was going to go after them.
But they wouldn't care. They just
I think usually pardons are.
I think it's deeper. I think it's deeper. No, I think these people. Well, let's walk through it. Fauci was into big corporate money for big pharma. And
that
the Democrats were living. Liz Warren, Pocahontas, who, I'm shocked to find gambling going on here, is a big beneficiary of all the money that come out of big pharma, although she denies it. They hide it through individual donations. By the way, Act Blue, we should cover Act Blue sometime soon because that's coming up.
Well, Dr. Corsi and his group, God's Five Stones, is working on, as you know, the election system and everything else and what's going on and some bigger news coming out of that. But they are going to set their sights on Act Blue very soon. Yeah. So they're looking to raise some money for that. So there will be some big things coming out of that very, very soon.
Good.
Your noses.
But back to Mark Milley. So Mark Milley actually did things to undermine Trump's administration at the very end.
Right.
When the Democrats were
the Chinese.
Yeah. Well, that and then because Milley and Chris, what's his name, the DHS guy, I think they were working in concert. Chris Krebs were working in concert to distract and undermine. And full disclosure, I've said this before. I met with Rudy Giuliani, with the late commissioner, with Bernie Kerik. We met with Rudy about 30 days before the November election. I don't want to go into detail, but we laid out what was about to happen. And one of those names on the list was Mark Milley, saying this guy's going to do something to undermine the president regarding going forward. Just saying. And sure enough, he did. And I think that's what they're trying to cover up. I think Nancy Pelosi and Mark Milley and Chris Krebs were all, can I use the word colluding? Is that a pop? Can we use that word on the air? I think we can.
I think you can.
I think that's what was going on, Barry.
Yeah, didn't Milley say to the Chinese, I think it was a general who said, well, Trump does so-and-so. I'm going to give you a heads up. I mean, that's a crime, isn't it? Isn't that a traitor?
Yeah.
Treason. Yeah. So I guess
they took people out and shot him during World War II for his shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But again, I do believe some of these lesser knowns, the Cheneys and the Millies of the world, they don't want to be the fall guy. So maybe they got in line. And again, this is all speculation. But if Burchett is correct, some of these people probably grease some palms to get pardoned. There's a good
no doubt.
That. Again, Hunter Biden didn't have to grease his palms because, again, the Biden family is a crime family.
Oh, no, his palm was full of crystal meth. So you can't grease something it's full of crystal meth.
That's a good point.
Even I know that, and I'm not a drug addict.
Right, and somebody had to be available to bring the cocaine into the White House. Having said
exactly.
Right.
Did they pardon John Brennan? I forget.
No.
He's available for indictment.
He only had $25. That wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah. He couldn't scrape together the bribe amount necessary on his former CIA retired salary. Just saying, I guess he didn't offer up enough Mercedes-Benz as part of the
right. So people who are wealthy enough, again, this is all speculation. Burchett claims he's right on this. If he is, it's logical because there are people who have some money that don't want to be the fall guy. I want to just spend the rest of their lives out of politics and just speak at colleges and make a lot of money doing that. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking engagements, right? But they don't want to be interrupted. And there's still small fish in that respect. Fauci, on the other hand, I believe Biden covered up. Biden and the administration covered up their own misgivings by pardoning Fauci.
I think they fully knew what Fauci was doing. Fauci needs to be spending the rest of his natural life in the Keebler Elves tree making cookies. That's it. No parole. You should be in there with other guys making chocolatey good cookies. So
it's really true.
Speaking of short people with big things, did you Barry? Did you notice this is like flying under the radar, hidden in plain sight? Did you not notice President Trump did a shout out to the Democrats? I'm amazed that we haven't talked more about this. Did you notice that in a full kind of I guess tribute to Paul Pelosi, they named the operation about the midnight hammer after his event in San Francisco?
Yeah,
isn't that so cool that he did a shout out to the Democrats, right, Chris?
Well, he's a kind man.
Yeah.
And he gave a shout out to
Midnight
the
Hammer. Man, oh man!
It
was like he should have said, in honor of Paul Pelosi, I'm naming this Operation Midnight Hammer.
Well, that's why.
Perfect. I didn't think of that.
Well, that's why Jasmine Crockett was upset because she didn't get the holla. She was like, "How come the Pelosi's get a holla and not me?" There we go. I have to.
Oh my! Oh my! We're gonna get hate mail over that. That's okay. That's why we're here. And I hope our evil overlord won't get too upset about it. Good morning, Ed.
We're hate mail types. There we go.
Yeah. Well, Yeah. Well, he got nailed and hammered. I guess that would be part 2 of the operation. Oh, by the way, there's a new secret operation, Barry, that they've just proposed. It's called the Velvet Paddle. He's going to go paddle all the Democrats. So
I think some of them might like that. By the way, if you're enjoying this, hit that big red button that says join and help us out here on this program.
Yeah, join. Just
that keeps us going.
For God's sake, join us.
Yes.
Yeah, join.
It keeps us going.
We're not like your dad's club. We're better. So.
Right. If you like what we do, that's the idea. Okay, so check that out, and we thank you very much for that. I got a couple minutes left. Want to go a little off politics and have a little fun here? I'm reading Zero Hedge, and there's an article by.
I thought that's what we've been doing. Oh no, I guess we have politics.
Well, you got to check this out. I'm going to pull the article up. This is about Generation Z. I mean, not everybody, but a large portion of Gen Z's workplace demands. And I thought, and you think the world's going
to heck. This is good, Barry. This will be good, Barry. No, this is good cultural stuff.
You're right.
Potpourri.
And you wonder why. And you wonder why people like Jasmine Crockett and Zorhan, whatever else, Mandami. I keep pronouncing that name correctly. Probably here until November, I'll have to do that. But people like those people get elected to office because of this kind of attitude. According to a resume.io survey, this is a Zero Hedge article, 1 in 6 Americans under 28 won't even look at a job unless it comes with a designated nap zone. Nap pods, if you will. It's also a New York Post article, by the way. Think about this. People want a nap. That's something we had in kindergarten.
Right. Yeah, it's pitiful. New York Post also had an article called "The Gen Z Stare." So same crew who's, you go in with customer service and they're like zombies. There's no personality. They don't care to work hard. They just stare at you, no smile. They don't want to go out of their way to help you. So no, I believe it. It's just.
They don't want to work. And look at this. No, they want a fun room, a game room.
Right.
They don't want to work anywhere. Look, hey, I'm okay with the pet friendly thing, but the fact is, you still cannot. You cannot make these demands if you're pretty much entry level altogether. You have to get a job and maybe move up. You want to run a business that way, then run it that way.
Right.
But you're not going to be able to play ping pong at work all the time. I know some big corporations have game rooms for lunch, but not during work hours, my friends.
It's our future. It's scary for the future, that's for sure.
And we thought millennials.
I don't think all. So because I was talking a little bit about this. We were talking about this yesterday about universities. I can't remember. I have like 12 interviews, so they all kind of blur together yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It was like they tried to get me up this morning before I was like, can you come on? It's like, no, I can't come on. Anyway, we were talking about how do we get to the root of changing the culture of today's children, because some of them become radicals. They go off and we talked about it a little bit yesterday here on the show, right, Chris, with Ruthie, about how is it, Barry, how is it that kids, these liberals who are gay, lesbians, colors of hair that are not natural, piercings in places that I don't know how they do things once they're pierced, just saying, not that I care. No, right. I don't want to go there, literally.
Or scream out pain.
Yeah, so how do we change? Well, we got to get to the schools, because I mentioned this yesterday. I went to Wright State University. I'm an alma Wright State University, Dayton, Ohio. Shout out to Dayton. I saw someone was in Dayton there. By the way, it's not an accident that the symbol of the school is like the nuclear fallout shelter sign. Right next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, a major target during the Cold War. Just saying. Anyway, for better or for worse, Wright State University actually prepared me, sometimes against my will, just saying. Shout out to Dr. Walker for forcing me onto the mock trial team, which we won the national championship in 1986, just saying. Shout out to Jim. Sometimes against my will, pushing me to do things that I don't know if I want to be a lawyer, but I guess I can pretend to be one in front of the Iowa Supreme Court for once. Yeah, sure. What the hell? So, but my point being is that the instructors I had, like Jim Walker, and I'm completely serious. Shout out to Jim. He lives in Scottsdale now.
Not Jimmy Walker.
They pushed me to develop practical skills. They did. I never once had a class in basket weaving or hair color of gays and lesbians in the wild. I never had any of those classes.
I will tell you this: the only lazy class, or at least I thought it was a lazy class that I was taking, was badminton back in school, because we had to have physical education requirements. Luckily, my graduating class was grandfathered out of having to take multicultural studies courses at New Paltz. It was getting worse by the year, by the way, over there. Anyway, having said that, the badminton class, we had a gym teacher that was so gung-ho that we actually had to work and play well when it came to badminton instead of just stand there with the rackets. Oh, well. So we even have to work hard doing that. That's still a good thing, though. So
I think combat badminton is a great game. We should do a show on it, right, Barry? We should get people out and play badminton. That'd be good.
Yeah, and I never did it, so I'd love to try.
Combat badminton. That sounds. Hey, at least maybe you'll be able to check. You can go across. It wouldn't be such a bad thing. Of course, to keep in mind, the 90s were also the first decade where teachers and students were whining about dodgeball and trying to ban dodgeball from gym classes.
Oh my God!
Remember that?
Yeah. So
the
just
NEA,
for the record, I love dodgeball.
Yeah,
that was great. I love dodgeball.
And the NEA. Dodgeball was fun, and dodgeball I always say was the great equalizer for the kids who didn't feel like going to gym class. They could just stand there and get hit, and that's fine.
Right.
But you're not right next to anybody.
Well, speaking of, there was another game called Smear the Queer, which was true. It was a game. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that to be provocative. I'm saying it's true.
And we all wanted to be the queer. We all wanted to be the queer. So because it was cool back then. That's the cue I can go for.
It was cool. It was actually cool back then. Yeah.
That's right. But think about it. Dodgeball is the great equalizer. Kids who didn't want to play can just get hit. The little kids, the small ones, were harder to hit, and you can whip the ball at the bigger kids, and they're an easier target.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what any of these whiny liberals say because they didn't like dodgeball. That's an equalizer. I'm sorry.
And it was a game of strategy, because what you would do, to your point, Chris, you would get you had 4 or 5 balls. And so what I know we would do is plan so that some kid we didn't like on the other side, 3 kids would basically fire at him. Yeah. And then while he was distracted, the last guy takes and just whizzes it and hits him in the head. It was wonderful. It was glorious.
Oh, yeah. I know. We were called out for head hunting.
That was right. It was called Pretend You're Iran back in the day, right?
Then there was also Steal the Bacon, the cop-out game when it was raining outside and the kids couldn't go outside. Everybody had to line up and they get the numbers called and they'd try to run and steal this little cloth in the middle. That's the elementary school cop-out gym game if they couldn't play volleyball after dodgeball.
Speaking of that, in '79, I had a button that said "Bomb Iran." I should have kept it.
Well, it was the song, right? The Vince Vance song,
right? Yeah.
That was a great song.
Yeah, it's back in style, I guess.
They used to play that on the radio. I remember when I was younger, that Vince Vance "Bomb Iran" song was played on morning show.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
Yep. Yeah. It was funny. People had senses of humor back then.
Well, if you recall,
like people.
Well, Ronald Reagan jokingly during a radio interview said, "Well, by now the bombers are on the way to Iran." It's like
that's classic.
That really freaked him out. So
Ronald Reagan's administration was the best when it came to bombing.
I think we ought to recognize. What's that, Chris? Go ahead.
Ronald Reagan's administration was the best when it came to bombing, because when they bombed Libya, and the French wouldn't let us use their airspace, one bomb accidentally hit the French embassy.
Well, Chris, there you go again. I don't know what to say. It's those damn Democrats. I don't know.
So, well, It's been another great show. Barry, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here, especially with all the New York stuff.
Yeah,
and we didn't even talk about Kathy Hochul.
Yeah.
Today. So we didn't even get to her. So.
I'll come back to that because there's a lot.
We'll do that another time. And of course, you're going to have a new governor soon too, by the way, in New Jersey, because Murphy can't run anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I pray that they do the right thing. This what's her name? Mikhail Cheryl or whatever she is. Horrible. Another leftist kook. She was out the other day dancing with drag queens, and it's not what we need here in New Jersey. So I'm hoping they go red in New Jersey.
No, I by the way, Barry, I love New Jersey. I one of my favorite places on the planet is Cape May. I love Cape May.
We're going to be there in 3 weeks. Actually, we're going in 3 weeks. I love it there.
Yeah, I want just a spectacular place, and I think your state has been so badly abused by the left, from Cape May to Atlantic City, up to the mountains, just west of Manhattan. I mean, it's just horrible what they've done to your state. So,
the Democrats ruin everything they touch.
That's their job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their job. And they do it well, too well.
Yeah, they do.
So
they do. They should get a certificate.
Good. A participation trophy.
Yeah, right.
That's right. So, all right. Well, thanks for folks. Thanks for being here today. We love you. You love us. It's all good. We'll be back tomorrow. Chris, what are we doing tomorrow? Are we doing something
tomorrow? Tomorrow, it's us and Dr. Li Ming Yin. The Chinese are kind of working around us and everything else. There are some really horrible things going on underneath the radar. And we talked about a little bit of that last week. There's a lot more going on, and Dr. Yin's going to talk about how the CCP operates, how it handles bringing in illegals here, and of course how it polices its illegal immigrants.
Yeah. Well, good. It'll be a good topic. More fun, frivolity, and education. Right? That's our job.
The 3 F's, or the 2 F's and an E.
2 F's and an E. Well, I like 3 E's and half a man or something like that. So
one of the best. Speaking of F's, one of the best television lines. Again, I'm sure the Department of Education might not like it, but who cares? Mr. Woodman, remember, welcome back, Cotter. Mr. Woodman used to yelled at Cotter one day. He says, "You know what?" He got mad because the Sweat Hogs actually did very well on some of their tests. Of course, they did cheat. But he goes, "You know what? How did Horseshack get a B? And how did Barbarino get an A? Sweat Hogs get F's. And you know why Sweat Hogs get F's?" He goes, "Why? Because the school board won't let me hand out G's." Mr. Woodman was the man.
G. Well, we'll hand out a G for going. We're going now. So
thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.